So I guess that means I'm in the lead, right?
You would think so, Ella, but in modern Drag Race, that rarely matters. Before I get into this video, I want to thank Emma Murdoch, that's a cool ass name, Sal, and Killer Frost for becoming patrons. Without going into too much personal stuff, I want to thank everyone that's contributed on there. You're helping more than I can say, and I'm more than appreciative of that. So, it's that time again when we talk about who should win a Drag Race season based on some criteria that I tend to follow. Should does not mean will, nor does it mean I would like to. Based on the season that we have watched, where the producers purposely made certain editing and competition-related decisions, who should win the season? That's what I'm asking. Another channel here on YouTube does their version of these videos, to put it lightly, and they include social media related stats. I don't do that because 1. Social media management is not part of the competition. 2. The show dictates how we see the queens and how we form our opinions on them, not the other way around, because the show is filmed months before these social media numbers would be considered as relevant. And 3, even though marketing matters and the show does aim towards pleasing the audience and having good publicity, which low-key insults the audience's intelligence because it assumes we can only enjoy things that the majority likes, and if the things go their way. It's RuPaul's Drag Race, not children on social media's Drag Race. Here, in my original concept of these videos, we look at 3 categories. Best track record. This category checks who, by the end of the competition, did best based on this point system. Most dominant queen. This category checks which queen had the most points in an episode most times in the competition. Yes, I completely gave up on the top of the competition thing. Winner narrative. I think this one is pretty self-explanatory. Yes, I also gave up on the best storyline because people confuse I like this storyline or I like this queen with who the production gave the most complex winning story. There is also an asterisk criteria of not being able to win if you've been up for elimination more than once. Yes, I am very well aware that legend Simone won season 13 after being up for elimination twice, and 2 is larger than 1. But here is the thing, my dudes. One of the times that she was up for elimination was in an episode the results of which ended up not mattering because Candy, whom she beat in the lip sync, was saved. She won the lip sync against Tamisha in the first episode and was part of the winners group, essentially having that extra advantage in the show's eyes and more room to fuck up if necessary. And lastly, in that final top 2, she was up against Candy, who was also up for elimination more than once. So that canceled the whole thing out. So yes, this criteria is still valid. However, it's irrelevant given that our top 3, Ella Vaday, Kitty Scott-Claus, and Krystal Versace never were up for elimination more than once. Let us begin. I'm sorry for such a long explanation. In this first category, as I've already said, this is the point system that we're using. For the full table of placements, you're going to have to wait for next week, once the season is officially over, but for now, let's see our top 3's track records. In the last place, we have, surprisingly enough, Krystal Versace. Yeah, Krystal had a very strong start, a mixed middle, and a bad end. So it's no surprise that she would be last, especially compared to Ella and Kitty. Kitty is in the second place here, only slightly below Ella, who is the winner of the first category. What's impressive about Ella's track record is that she now joins the very small group of queens on RuPaul's Drag Race that have never placed below safe. And as you can see, Ella earned 36 points in the 9 episodes that she competed in. Kitty almost did as well, but she just had to be in the losing group for the girl groups challenge. Again, the winner of this category is Ella Vaday. For the second category, we have a very interesting graph to see. I think this may be a first time thing, that a season was dominated by 2 queens only. Now, which 2 queens, you may be wondering? Well, Ella is obviously one of them, as she had the most points in the last episode, so obviously she would be here. But is she first or second? Well, the race is still on, because Ella is second here. She had a highest score in 4 episodes, those being episodes 6, 7, 8, and 9, while, of course, Krystal is the winner of this category, dominating the first portion of the season. First 5 episodes, to be exact. Now, who had the winner narrative? Well, as always, let's talk about each one of the queens. In alphabetical order, Ella first. Many people deemed Ella as the rosé of this season, as she at times was shown as having very little to her other than being good at drag. However, unlike Rosé, she did get moments of vulnerability, moments of weakness, but those were mostly in the workroom, rarely in the challenges, which is good. Moments of arrogance, moments of pure joy, and so on and so on. Basically, she was shown as a human person that we can root for and get behind. Now, I'm not saying that you couldn't root for Rosé on season 13. I'm saying that the production did not want you to root for her, whereas Ella, yeah, they wanted us to root for her. However, other than the whole oh, she's funny, or oh, she has a personality, developments in her character, and her coming out of her shell, Ella didn't have much of a full season story. The whole slow start, rising middle, and triumphant end is a classic narrative, but sadly, given all the other storylines happening in the season, the first two parts of Ella's story were not that well developed or shown. Krystal, while dominating the season, was presented in a kind of a weird way. Sometimes we were supposed to like her, sometimes we were supposed to scoff at the things that she was saying or doing. Sometimes we were supposed to be in awe of her talent, sometimes we were supposed to dislike her for her inexperience, and so on. I would go into further detail on the confusing aspect of her storyline now, but I have a video planned for that, and I think you guys can wait. However, in the second part of the season, the part where she, for the lack of a better term, flopped, she, the rest of the cast, and we, the audience, were told that she was basically born to do drag. Even though, as it was pointed out by Kitty in this last episode, based on the competition, she wasn't really born to act, write, do comedy, impersonate, etc. These moments from RuPaul felt like, well, no, were not at all cleverly interwoven into every single episode, to the point where the winner story was pushed on Krystal. It's a classic case of show, don't tell. Show us that she's great, don't tell us that. So she does have a winner narrative, but a fabricated one. Luckily for the show, Krystal, as many winners should, even had a moment of complete failure in the 9th episode, when she was in the bottom 2, which also, quite interestingly, brings her story in the competition to a nice close. She started the competition winning a lip sync to show that she shouldn't be underestimated just because of her age. She ended the competition winning a lip sync to show that she should be in the top 3. And last, but certainly not least, Kitty. Kitty seemed to have a pretty consistent narrative throughout the season of being the funny in the confessionals queen. Even in the episodes when Scarlett would hog the confessionals to scream about nothing, or when Riva would do anything to prolong every word she would say as much as she humanly could. That accent was so off. However, even disregarding that, Kitty had a fine narrative. In the first 4 episodes, she was just kind of there, showing us that she's good at pretty much everything, but sadly never really breaking through in the eyes of the show, simply because there were other queens there. But again, we knew that she was part of the competition. Then, in the 5th episode, in a challenge that she wins in any other instance, she is sadly in the losing group, but she is the best of the worst. Hell, she was better than half of the queens that won the challenge that episode. After that episode, her trajectory just skyrocketed, never placing below safe. So, a little like Ella, she had a slow start, but even in that slow start, as I have said, we still were aware of Kitty's presence in the competition. I know that there's this quote-unquote curse for the funny confessional queens, that they can never win the season, but that idea is completely stupid. Hi, editing me here. So, I'm not saying that it's stupid that the fans have read into the edit of the show correctly. I'm saying that the concept of this is stupid on the production's part because they're the people that we see the most. They're the people that are the most intimate with us. They're the people that entertain us the most, and They're the people that thus we connect to and like the most by design. The fact that Drag Race has used that spot for queens that they never care to crown is absurd, and just shows that they prefer constructed narratives over organic likability and star quality. That's why, in my eyes, Kitty takes this last category. Well, fuck me gently with a chainsaw. Each one of the top 3 queens won one category, kind of like on the main franchise of season 3. However, I have a way to find us a winner. Let's rank the top 3 in each of the categories. So let's not only announce the winner, but also the second and the third place. In the first category, we know that it goes Ella, Kitty, Krystal. Let's say that the last place gets 0 points, the second place will get 1 point, and the first will get 2 points. For the second category, it goes Krystal, Ella, Kitty. And for the last one, Kitty, Krystal, Ella. So adding all of that up, and we get the same thing as before, motherfucker. Okay, this has never happened before. I don't have a concrete answer. Ella could win just for being fantastic at everything, but the show spent more time on the other queens, at times neglecting her. Krystal dominated the first part of the season, much like the Vivian and Lawrence, the first 2 winners of Drag Race UK, and was praised by RuPaul every week to the point when it became redundant and overdone. And she also fell on her ass during the last 2/3 of the competition. Kitty may not have been the best by the end, nor was she a threat competition-wise, but she's got such a star quality that you cannot teach or replicate. Everyone has a pretty good claim towards the crown. It will really come down to what RuPaul and the show want to do. So, who should win Drag Race UK Season 3? Any of the queens in the top 3. But I still want Ella to win, so my money's on her. And that's it. That's the video. A little bit of an anticlimactic ending, maybe? So, okay, I want to hear your thoughts. Who do you want to win the season? Or, whose team are you on? Hope you had a good week, and thank you for watching.